video clip.
Good morning.
Morning.
So super cool. So we had a little technical difficulty, but it seemed to kind of work. At least we can see y'all's comments. We can't make any comments today.
So listen up.
Yeah.
Because it's all we got.
Yeah. So you're just going to have to hear our wonderful voices until we can figure out what happened. Good morning, Vicky.
Morning.
So Wednesday, today definitely feels like a Friday or a Monday. Ooh, Friday. Man, I'm just breezing through all those days. Today definitely feels like a Monday to me.
Yeah. I'm retired.
Yeah.
Every day is Saturday. So.
It's hard. I feel like it's harder when we have a 3-day weekend to like skip Monday, because then I feel like the rest of my week is just like really off.
I'll start wearing a Wednesday t-shirt.
Yeah, we'll have to start putting on top for us like what day it is, so that way we know. So it feels like the weather has warmed up.
Yeah,
quite a bit. Yeah,
that's great.
Which I know some other parts of the U.S. are not experiencing any.
My son went to ski in Colorado. He's from Dallas Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
Had to fly through Chicago. Took him 2 days to get back.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well,
by the way, we got a little button when we first came on that said, "Oh, and you're muted." So let us know if you can hear us, or let us know if you can't hear us.
I can look.
Somebody would have.
It looks like we are not muted.
Oh, good. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Whew.
So it seems like Texas is getting hit too.
Yeah. They had snow in Fort Worth. It was gone by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But it was still snow in Fort Worth. So
yeah.
I can hear
Good.
you. Good. That's my girl.
We're working through technical difficulties.
Yeah, always.
Yep. At least we can see y'all's comments. That was what I was more concerned about than us posting. So.
So it's Wednesday morning, and the verse is out of Psalms.
Jeremiah.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah.
Old Testament.
Yeah. Last week was Proverbs, but Psalms, Proverbs, same thing.
So it's a whole heart thing, huh?
Uh-huh.
Cool.
So we're still going through the YouVersion Daily Devotional. We've ranted and raved about how much we like it. It's super cool. It's one of my favorite things. So we're actually doing yesterday's devotion. We talked a little bit last week that just makes it easier for us, so that way we can study it and look at it instead of waking up and rushing through. So we'll just jump right on in. So the verse is, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." Jeremiah 29:13. And the devotion is seeking and finding God. In the Old Testament, God's presence and his relationship with his people was meditated through priests and the temple system. The people of God worship God and pray to him, but it was the priest who would enter a sacred place and speak with God on their behalf. They revered God, but they were still separated from him. However, the prophet Jeremiah wrote about a time when God's people would be able to experience a direct relationship with him. God's spirit would dwell in them, and they would find him anywhere at any time. Through Jesus, Jeremiah's prophecy was fulfilled. Jesus sent the Spirit of God to dwell within us, to have access to God's presence at any time. This means that God is never far from you. It's just like it says in Jeremiah 29:13. He can be found when we seek him. He is present and ready for a relationship with you. Jeremiah also says that we must seek God with all of our heart. We don't just seek God, he seeks us as well. When you pursue a relationship with God, he wants access to every part of you, the way you think, the way you act, and even the way you feel. He wants to transform your entire life. At first, it may seem hard to give God access to your past or the things you were ashamed of. But God is full of grace and mercy and wants us to be free from those things. Seeking God with all of your heart may feel risky at times, but we can trust He knows best and will love us regardless of what we've done. Ask God to reveal within you any part of your life you haven't surrendered to God. Pray for the strength and courage to give all your life to God. Continue to seek Him and follow Him each and every day.
Cool.
So we're going through Jeremiah with the youth. And last Wednesday, it kind of got touched upon.
We're going through.
Oh, we're not going through Jeremiah. Ephesians.
But still.
Yeah, but still.
It's just making me feel good about thinking it was.
Yeah. It's definitely a Monday. But last Wednesday when we're going through Ephesians, the speaker, who I always forget,
J.D.
Greer talked about how us seeking God and God seeking us go hand in hand.
Right.
It's not just a one-way deal. God just doesn't seek us and we just don't see God. We seek God and He seeks us too.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool, and I love how they said that here too. And I think that is true, because sometimes it's our human nature to feel like I'm trying to pursue God, I'm reading, I'm seeking Him, but I just feel like I'm by myself. I don't feel, and I think to me it's comforting to be reminded that God is seeking me too.
Yeah.
That it's not just one way.
There's one important word I thought came up in the verse we read. It's when. It's when we seek God with our whole heart.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a contrast. I was going to look up the Bible verses and I didn't. But there's a good contrast in the Bible. The young ruler that seeks Jesus, and Jesus said, "Okay, so he asked him, what do I need to do?" And they go through the whole thing. And at the very end, he's done all this stuff, and Jesus says, "Just one more thing." He says, "Give away all your money."
Mm-hmm.
And the guy went away with a broken heart because he couldn't commit completely.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, on the other hand, talks about, listen, all the stuff that I had before, trash compared to my relationship with Christ. And so that was a little worrisome to me before. It's like, oh man, am I giving 100%? But I think it is action, but I don't think it's totally action. I think it's attitude.
Right.
Being able to face up going, oh, there's a part of me that I'm not surrendering, and wanting to surrender to God rather than the rich young ruler that says, no, can't go there.
Right.
I want to be able to tell God anywhere you want to go, that you go in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another neat verse that helps with that. It's one of my favorites in the whole world is Psalms 139, 23, 24. And it talks about, hey, Lord, look at my heart. Look at my anxious thoughts. See if there's any unclean way within me, and then bubble that up to the surface so that I can scrape it off so it's not in the way between you and I. And that's a scary prayer, but it's a great one because, man, you pray, God, show me what's wrong with me, and He will.
Right.
And then to be able to surrender to that, to keep us pointed wholeheartedly toward God. I've got a friend who helped me build my motorcycle. He said, I don't want to be the Christian that stands up on the pedestal for everybody to admire. He said, I've done horrible things, broken, I want to be the Christian that Christ had to die for. And I wrote him back and said, yeah, my nose stays bloody most of the time, but it's a great fight. It's a good fight. I encourage you there. Don't give up, man. Give your heart. Give your whole heart. Keep on pushing on it. There was questions.
Yes. How can you seek God today? That's a good question. So you guys chime in. How can you seek God today?
See or seek?
Seek.
Seek. S-E-E-K. Seek. How can you seek God?
Which is so funny because wasn't that my dad's sermon last week?
Amazing.
I know.
It's the update.
Yes. We were talking about phone updates and there's a lot of negative, but apparently that worked out today. So how can you seek God today? I like how one of their answers is, I can have an honest conversation with God.
Yeah.
I think that's really important because I tend to have conversations with God, but I think the honest is the key word right there.
Yeah. One thing that Larry, your dad, encouraged me with was it's okay to tell God, I don't understand. I'm a little upset about this. I'm anxious. I'm angry. David did it,
Right.
all the time.
Well,
and God's big enough that he can go, okay, chill. Let's talk.
The ladies' Tuesday night Bible study is going through a study called Letting God Be Enough. And last night we talked about fear and how we can either be paralyzed with fear or we can act and like be bold. And so she was talking about Moses. And I love the story of Moses because Moses is, when God comes to him in the burning bush and is like, okay, you got to go back to Egypt. Yeah. And he's like, I can't, I have a speech impediment. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then God's like, well, I'll give you, Aaron, like he'll speak for you. Oh, well, I can't do that, and
it was all stop. Hey, who made your tongue?
Yeah.
Go. And to Moses' credit, it was like, okay.
I know.
I'll go.
But I think sometimes, like for me, reading the Bible and reading stories like that they're honest reactions. We're all like, whoa, like, most of the people in the Bible were all like, I don't know, like, are you sure you know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Instead of being all like, okay, like I'll just go, and do it. Moses is like, whoa.
That's been a shift in my understanding of the Bible from when I was a kid till now. Small shift, but I can remember in Sunday school, you didn't touch the Bible guys. They were like perfect.
Right.
Never made a mistake. And now when we study them, it's like Moses, like, oh, I don't want to go.
Yeah, I think
Jonah, I don't want to go.
Right. And I think too, like as children, adults are teaching children to be like obedient. Like you have to be obedient, like not only to your parents, but whatever God tells you, like you don't question, you just do it.
Yeah.
And I agree with you in the fact of like being a kid to now reading it, it's like, oh, they did question.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay as long as like our attitude towards God is still trustworthy and like, okay,
pointed
we're
toward
gonna do it.
Wanting to
obey. Right.
Like what Vicky says, he knows our hearts. That's that Psalms 139. Yeah. Search my heart.
Yep. Honest conversations. I think that's a key word right there is honest. Because I think we can have conversations with people and with God, but if we aren't honest, then what's the point of it's just fluff, like how's the weather? Oh good, like how are you today? Oh, just fine.
I struggle sometimes with I ask God for what I want and he gives me what I need. But your dad nailed it Sunday. He said as long as we're following what we're supposed to do, it's easier to know what we're supposed to do when we're seeking. And so I told Bev, and I can't remember the exact words, I leaned over and I said, it's easier to understand turn left at the boulder if we're on the path. He tells us, okay, here's what you need to do. Oh, all right. So if we're following already what he's telling us to do, he knows our hearts. And if we're honest with him and following what he tells us to do, then it's easier when he gives us the little tasks to say, okay, that relates to what I'm doing every day. So, cool. Good morning, Vicki. I know I've said it before, but it was nice to meet you in church. What, about a month ago? I had seen her a million times on this, but then to put a face to it was cool.
Yeah. Vicky goes way back with my family. She came for VBS this last year. Last year, she was one of my preschool helpers.
Oh, cool. So you guys knew each other from Dallas, Fort Worth area?
No. So Vicky knew my parents from VBS, like training teams.
Oh, okay.
Or New Mexico training teams when my parents started doing that. And so Vicky and my parents really connected, and so they've just stayed in touch. And
cool.
Vicky is a very close friend.
Yeah, she was a neat gal. Well,
so we jump on
to
the prayer. So I'll close this out with this prayer. I don't know, like I feel like this week maybe we should be thinking about ways that we can see God. and having honest, real conversations instead of just fluff. Yes. BBS brings lots of people together.
Yeah.
So, okay. God, thank you for revealing yourself to the world and to me. Thank you for choosing to have a personal relationship with me. Today, please help me to seek you with my whole heart as I draw closer to you. Please deepen my relationship with you. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, you guys have a great week. Paul and Hope will see you guys on Friday, and we will see you next week.